Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mission Apollo, episode 12, the official Apollo Scooters podcast. I'm joined by someone today who you may know, but may not know his face just yet. He's been with us for 8 months as one of our help gurus. And if you've ever had to reach out to us for any questions, sales questions, tech support, anything like that, you've probably talked to him. And now you can finally put the face to the name. Please welcome Xavier or Xavier for the Anglophones.
Hey everyone.
How's it
So
going?
that's me. I'm Xavier. Like Sean said, you probably talked to me before if you've reached out to us. I'm one of the agents here at Apollo. So I'm here
Thank
to
you for
help.
joining me. So we're going to talk today about new scooter riders. Like if you're getting started in the scooter world, where to get started, how to maximize your experience. And so we figured you were the perfect person to bring on because well, you probably talked to a lot of customers, haven't you?
Yeah, I've helped a lot of people with this topic before. So let's help some more.
Excellent. Hopefully, you guys can find something informative from this podcast. So, yeah, essentially, like if someone is coming into the scooter world for the very first time, there's a lot of choices, a lot of different brands, a lot of different models, and it can be hard to narrow it down. What kind of questions or how do you help narrow it down for a customer to pick a scooter when they're first starting out?
Yeah. So one of the first things I actually ask customers when they have this question is I ask them what's going to be their intent with the scooter. Like, what are they going to use it for? Is it mainly going to be for commuting to work? You're going to be going like 4 miles back and forth every day, or are you looking to get something for fun that you're going to take on weekends and just try and get some speed and some thrill out of? That's one of the first things I'll
Mm-hmm.
ask and engage the response. If you're looking to commute more often, we're probably going to look at something slower that has enough range for you. We're going to take into consideration the type of route that you're going to be taking every day. Is it super bumpy? Is there many hills? That kind of stuff. And with that, we'll be able to help you like choose the best product for you.
Nice. Yeah, we've kind of covered this topic before. We did a podcast with Maxwell a few months ago about choosing the right scooter, and we also have the little quiz on our website to help narrow it down too. Do you ever point people in that direction? Do you find that it helps a lot?
Yeah, all the time. At the bottom of the website on the homepage, you'll see a little link. It's just called quiz, and at the complete bottom with the other links. And if you go through it, like it'll ask you general questions about your usage and what you intend to do. And yeah, like people like normally narrow it down to a choice or two that they were already kind of looking at to fit their needs. So it is a
Mm-hmm.
useful tool.
Very nice. And yeah, again, there's like so much choice out there, and something that we see a lot is people asking if they should choose like a trigger throttle or a thumb throttle, and what do you say to those people, like how to make the choice?
It really depends on what you're more comfortable with. Uh, we're we've been going to we've been like taking scooters out now that are mainly with thumb throttles, so it's becoming
Mm-hmm.
slightly less of an option. But at the end of the day, it's really comes down to like ergonomics and what you feel more comfortable with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really boils down to that. The
But to
right now the scooters
yeah.
that come with the thumb throttle would be like the Air models, both the
Mm.
Air Base Pro. Our Ghost also comes with the thumb throttle and the Phantom.
But there's no performative difference between the two, right? Like they both work the same way, they both have the same response, right? There's
Yeah,
no
it's
actual
essentially
performance difference.
you get the same acceleration, you get the same top speed. It really just changes the ergonomics
Mm-hmm.
and how you're more comfortable on it.
Hmm. Which one do you prefer?
Personally, I'm a trigger guy. I know it's not
Oh,
the most
yeah.
common, but I like the trigger. Yeah,
Honestly, me too. But I think it depends like which one you try out first. So I think with us, we both tried the trigger throttle first, and that just
yeah,
became what we're comfortable
like
with.
comfortable with exactly. Yeah.
But if you start with a thumb throttle, or I mean, some even have like twist throttles. I guess you're probably more accustomed to those ones, and you want that. But luckily, with most of our scooters, you can't switch the throttle, right? If you have a trigger and go to a thumb, or
Yeah,
vice
you can
versa.
with most of our scooters, including the City, Explore, and the Ghost. You can switch the type of throttle that you have on there. Unfortunately, the
Mm-hmm.
Phantom and the Air, we don't have that option right now. But
Right.
the throttles that are on there are super ergonomic and well built, so
Yeah.
like you shouldn't want to switch.
Yeah. Although I think with the Phantom, technically you could still switch the throttle, but it's not advised because different connection types, different wirings.
Yeah, it consists of it's a little bit more complicated of a switchback towards
Yeah.
the trigger throttle, but it is possible if you have to do it or if you really want
Hmm.
to do it.
Okay, so what about brakes? We've seen a lot of there's like drum brakes, there's disc brakes, hydraulic brakes. Again, for someone starting out, what do you recommend? Like, what is the
For
most
someone
important to
starting
have?
out, I would say don't really worry about it too much. At the end of the day, a brake is a brake, but you should consider that there's different maintenance with the different types of
Hmm.
brakes. So
Yeah.
drum is kind of like it would be inside the wheel hub. I'm not really the best to explain this, but drums typically consider the will take the least amount of like week to week maintenance or day to day maintenance. Like
Hmm.
once you adjust them properly, they're very easy to adjust as well.
Hmm.
You're pretty good for like a couple months before you start feeling that it gets loose again, and all you have to do is tighten one little screw to pull on a cable,
So
and it
easy.
gets tight again. Yeah, it's so simple.
Yeah.
And then versus with the difference between hydraulic and mechanical brakes is just one is like filled with the fluid, the hydraulic ones. So the maintenance required on that is you might have to bleed it. Like it's different than a mechanical brake. So if you're not already used to it, there is a learning step to do for this kind of maintenance. And
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
mechanical brakes has the same power as hydraulics. It's
A little
the
bit
old
smoother, right?
yeah
The
the,
braking, yeah.
yeah it's same sensation of braking. You get the same stopping power. It's just that it's activated by a cable instead of by hydraulic pressure. So
Hmm.
so the maintenance on that, just you gotta like tighten or untighten screws to fix tension. So
Yeah.
the difference is mainly in the maintenance.
Right. Yeah, from what I've seen, and maybe you can confirm too, like the regular disc brakes, they usually require a little bit more day-to-day maintenance, but most people can pretty quickly learn how to do that. Whereas the hydraulic brakes, they may not require as much daily maintenance, but if you have to drain, bleed, refill the fluid, it can be a bit of a pain, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, if you haven't done that before, it's something that's mostly found on like mountain bikes. So if you're coming from that
Mm,
towards scooters, you have
yeah.
that advantage. But most people who just rode bikes for fun, like don't have that experience. You're probably more used to mechanical brakes, and it's
Hmm.
just like on bikes. There's like a couple screws to adjust like the width of the pads. You could adjust the angle at which the caliper is on your disc. So
Hmm.
it's a little different, but it's very manageable.
Yeah. And I guess for anyone who is like really set on getting hydraulic brakes, but maybe don't have the experience to bleed and refill the fluid themselves, I think most bike shops can do that for them, right?
Yeah, it's
You know?
most bike shops have all the equipment that you would need, and it'll take them 15-20 minutes to get the job done for you.
Perfect. Yeah, I guess if anyone's not comfortable doing it themselves,
Yeah,
that's also an option.
and
Um,
there's also a bunch of like videos online for how to do it. Like you can learn it. It's
mhm.
very simple. It consists
Yeah.
of unplugging one of the cables, letting the the oil out, and filling it back.
Hmm.
There's a bit more
Yeah.
complicated steps, but it's very learnable.
But so it sounds like I guess drum brake is for the most inexperienced, and hydraulic is for the most experienced riders, or like the fastest scooters, I guess.
Yeah, you could put it in terms of experience, and for fastest, I guess. Yeah, you could definitely could put it that way.
Hmm.
With hydraulics and mechanical brakes, you do get a stronger braking power than on a drum brake. But generally, drum brakes are on slower scooters that wouldn't require like excessive
Yeah.
braking. Like if you're
Yeah.
going less than 25 miles an hour, you don't really
Yeah.
need to like have all that power.
Exactly. Yeah, for most people watching, like if you looking at scooter models online and you see that there's an option of braking systems, usually it's between mechanical and hydraulic. And most of the time people will wonder which one to get. For those kinds of choices, it almost doesn't really matter. It comes down to a personal preference, like you're saying. But if the manufacturer is offering that choice, it usually means the mechanical brakes are, more than capable enough. But some people do want that extra braking power and the extra security, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, some people definitely want that, but it's important to note that we've tested them, and both of them like stop like in the same like with the same distance, and
Hmm.
you overall get the same like braking feeling sensation
Yeah.
when you use both. So one's not
Yeah.
necessarily better than the other. It really comes down to preference.
Yeah, but except for like the really fast scooters where you absolutely need the hydraulic brakes, then they don't even give you the choice. It's like
Yeah,
automatic. But
yeah. If you're going like if you're going really fast, you probably
yeah,
want that.
but yeah, for the maintenance alone, like that's why I prefer drum brakes. I mean, you can't get the fast scooters with drum brakes, obviously, but it's just so simple, and yeah,
Yeah,
you never lose your braking strength, which is great.
yeah. It's worry free.
Hmm. Okay, so let's say someone has chosen their scooter, they've made their choice, but they've never ridden one before, and they want to know how to get started. do you know how to coach people? Like, how do they
Yeah,
get on there? And
so we actually have a video that talks about this on our YouTube channel. But generally, like
might do that.
the best tips was like go start somewhere where you're going to be isolated. A parking lot's a great idea, like an empty parking lot, so you don't have the risk of getting hit or too many obstacles, and just slowly getting used to it. Getting used to accelerating slowly, getting used to braking. Just practicing everything that you would do on a regular commute or trip, and
Yeah.
like taking it step by step. You don't push yourself if you're not comfortable going faster than 15 kilometers your first time. Don't go faster than that. Take it
Yeah.
slowly and get comfortable, and it's something that you learn. It's kind of like a bicycle.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like
And
learning to ride a bike, or maybe even driving a car for the first time.
exactly. And then once you've learned it and you start getting comfortable, it's something that you don't really forget after. So
I think one important thing to point out too is like if you're afraid of going too fast, don't push the throttle too far,
yeah,
and let go of the throttle too.
yeah,
Some people get
definitely.
that lock hand, I think, and they just
Yeah,
lock onto the throttle and keep going, and it flies away.
yeah.
Don't do that.
I think I did that the first time I tried that on one of our scooters. It's a good tip.
I hope the scooter survives, and I'm glad you did at least.
Yeah, I did.
But okay, so start slow. Start slow with the throttle. Start slow with the brakes. Go to an empty parking lot and get like a lot of space. What other tips to get started for a first-time rider?
You might want to practice like your balance, leaning side to side, like seeing like how far you can take it going slow and stuff. Just getting used to the physics of a scooter. It's not necessarily something people are used to doing. Like not everyone's ridden one of those razor kick push scooters before. So the sensation is different than a bicycle. So you get used to finding your balance. Your foot placement is something to like find. Like it's different for everyone. Some people like to be fully sideways. Some people like to be a bit angled to the front. So you find something that's comfortable for you and where you feel like you have the most balance.
Actually, yeah, that brings up another good point too. Is like turning the scooter, and it's kind of similar to a bike. You're not really turning the handlebars so much. There's a little
Yeah,
bit,
exactly.
but you mostly want to lean into the
Yeah,
car, right?
exactly. So exactly. So like practicing to lean in your turn stuff. It's something that you're gonna see right away that if you turn the handlebars, like you're gonna feel it being thrown off balance and stuff. It's really like with leaning and taking your time learning the physics of the scooter that you're gonna get comfortable riding the scooter that you purchased.
Yeah. Okay. What about safety gear? What do you think is the most important and like absolutely necessary for accessories or safety gear before riding?
Well, first off, always a helmet, no matter what kind of a scooter you're riding. Whether it's the slowest or the fastest. Obviously the type of helmet might change. If you're riding a slower scooter, a standard bicycle helmet will usually do the trick. But if you're going something that's going to be going over like 30 kilometers an hour, 40 kilometers an hour, you might want to consider a full face helmet. We all have beautiful faces, and like having scuffs on them is not the best thing you want. Going to work the next day.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like the top thing that you want to get with a scooter.
Even if it's not like mandatory in someone's city or province or state,
Yeah,
you still recommend wearing a helmet?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend wearing a helmet. Like your head is priceless. No matter what the law says, your head at the end of the day is priceless. It's what makes you you. So
yeah, exactly. No matter how cool you might think you look without a helmet, it's not cool to have a brain injury. So
exactly, very true.
What about like shin pads, elbow pads, knee pads, that kind of thing?
I would say that that's optional, but obviously when you're going to higher speed scooters, when you're going to be hitting 30 kilometers an hour constantly, 40 kilometers an hour constantly, it's something to consider. If you're going to be buying like the higher end scooters and you're only going to be going fast, you definitely want to like suit up as much as you can. We have a lot of customers that wear motorcycle gear, like full body gear when they go out riding with their high speed scooters, and that's definitely not a bad idea.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, you can never be too safe or too protected. It's one thing to be riding around in your maybe neighborhood street and it's relatively quiet, but if you're going on a commute to work, better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any other accessories that you recommend for riders? I'm sure people ask all the time, okay, what do I need to get with my scooter? And our scooters are pretty much ready to go out of the box, but some people want to accessorize the rides to fit their needs. What do you recommend?
Yeah, so we have a variety of accessories on our website that are available. And if you guys have started shopping around already, you might have seen that we're offering bundles now. So you actually save on the accessories by buying them like as a pre-selected group. So depending on the type of riding that we do, we'll recommend a certain type of bundle for you. So we have the Night Rider bundle. As it says in the name, if you're planning on riding a lot at night and you're gonna need extra light and safety, well, that bundle's like probably best for you. It includes our strong e-took folding lock and the bright headlight, so you can like stay lit up at night. We have another bundle for people who are going to be doing like longer distances or who are going to be using the scooter like daily and often. So that's called the commuter package, and in that we include the fast charger so that you can like get the extra charge in between rides, and then a Apollo bag to carry extra accessories or any parts that you might need for your ride. And lastly, the other bundle that we're offering right now is the Adventurer. This is for anyone who's really looking to explore, who's just going to be using it for leisure and getting around. And this one also includes the e-took folding lock, but it has a phone holder. So you can always see where you're going. You can plan your trips and stuff. So depending on the kind of riding that you do and the questions that you'd be asked if you reached out to us, we might recommend a certain bundle for you. And yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll come up with more too that mix and match a little bit, because some people might want one item from one package and then another one from another one.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Maybe we need to mix those up a little bit. But on the topic of the fast charger, I feel like that's a question we get a lot too. It's like, do I need a fast charger? How often should I use it? What is it best for? Can I use it with my Air or Air Pro? How do you answer those questions?
Yeah, so there is no fast charger for the Air Pro. We can answer that one right away. Unfortunately, for the battery size, it's not worth it, and it doesn't take like super long to charge. So that's why there's none right now. But the main use that we say for fast chargers is really for people who are going to be using it daily and need that extra juice in between rides, and they can't afford to wait, the 4 to 6 hours or however long it takes to fully charge your battery. Yeah. It's not recommended to use this like daily if you're not using it like that often. If you're just gonna be like charging it once a week, like the regular charger is more than enough. You plug it in overnight and you don't worry about it. It's just safer for the battery overall. You go through less charge cycles, and like we only recommend to use it only like for frequent users.
Right. So yeah, we do have a couple of different types of fast chargers, and I feel like it's maybe not necessarily clear which one is for what scooter. So can you break down like the types of fast chargers that we have and what they're recommended for?
Yeah. So our chargers are I guess broken up into like the different voltages. So depending on the voltage in your system, like you have to get a matching fast charger. So if you have like a city, or if you still have a light, that's a 48 volt system. So you will need to purchase the 48 volt fast charger. If you get a faster charger, you can overcharge the battery and damage it. So like you really got to stay within your like you got to match the charger to the voltage in your system. And so even if you use like a smaller one, let's say you have a 60 volt Phantom and you use the 52 volt charger, you're just not going to get the full charge. You'll never get a full charge because it's just not designed for that. So you really got to match to the voltage of your unit.
And if anyone watching, you're not sure what battery you have in your scooter, if you know the name of your product, you can always look it up on our website. We have all the specs and stats listed there, or just reach out to us and let us know. But yeah, as Xavier said, match the fast charger with the battery that you have in your scooter. So a 60 volt scooter needs a 60 volt fast charger, 52 and 52, et cetera, et cetera. What is your best practices for charging though? Like charging in general, because you kind of touched on it before. Can someone use a fast charger and a regular charger together?
No, so if your scooter has 2 charge ports, you should be using either one charger at a time or 2 of the same chargers. For the amount of voltage going in, you want to have like an equal amount. Both of the charge ports,
I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the reason we have 2 charge ports is to allow like faster charging by using 2 identical chargers. So like if you happen to have two chargers at home and you want to charge your scooter a little bit faster, then you have that option, But using 2 different chargers, the difference in voltage can actually damage the cells in the battery, and like, nobody really wants that. So we really recommend not to.
Yeah, I think it's actually the power amp, like the amperage.
Yeah, the amperage is like the difference in amperage is like it's it's not good for when you're
Yeah,
charging.
exactly. Because a regular charger is like 1.5 amps or 1.7 or something like that, and the fast ones are, what are they? 4,
Around like 4, yeah, 4 or
I
5.
think. Yeah. So you don't want different powers going into the battery.
Yeah.
And which scooters have 2 charging ports again? It's the Explorer.
Yeah, the Explorer, the Ghost, and the Phantom, all 3 of those have 2 charging ports and allow for
Right.
that.
Yeah. So yeah. So you can use 2 of the regular chargers together, or just one fast charger. You could technically use 2 fast chargers
Yeah, you
together,
could
but
use 2 fast chargers, but
not really recommended either.
yeah, no, like I said earlier, like too much voltage going into the battery isn't necessarily the healthiest for it, if you want to say that. So
Yeah.
like, avoid doing that unless you really need like a quick full charge, But
Okay. And how often should people be charging their scooters? Because some people don't know, like, is it, every ride, once a week? Some people ride until the scooter is empty. Should they be doing that?
no, you probably shouldn't be riding until the scooter is empty. You want to be charging it when it reaches around like 20% of your voltage, or like around the last bar that you see on your screen. It's just for like precautionary measures. It's healthier for the battery to not drain. If you drain the battery fully, you can some cells can actually die out, and like they're unrepairable after. So you can like damage your whole battery by doing that. So typically when you're around your last bar, 20-25%, you want to be giving it a good charge, and you could charge it to 100%, no problem. Just be sure to unplug it once you reach the 100%, because overcharging can also be an issue. Like if you leave it plugged in for 8 hours after it reaching 100, that's not very good for your battery's health either.
Yeah, I think they can leave it plugged in for a little bit longer after it's done charging, but leaving it plugged in long term will not be good.
Yeah.
For me, like I just use the regular charger whenever it's needed to charge. Plug it in when I go to sleep. When I wake up in the morning, it's ready to go.
Yeah. Typically, depending on the scooter that you have, it'll take from like 6 to 8 hours, like especially for the bigger models like the Explorer, Ghost, and Phantom. So if you plug it in overnight and then plug it in the morning, there's no problem there.
Perfect.
It's just leaving it plugged in long term that could be the issue.
Yeah, don't do that.
And if you're looking to maybe store your scooter for like a longer period of time, if you're planning on not using it, you're going on a trip. It's winter here in Canada. We also have some recommendations for that. I saw that tier. You want to be keeping your charge levels between like 60 and 80%. That's the optimal range.
Yeah.
It can go below that. You can have it higher than that. But you want to be monitoring your battery percentage as you're not using it and keeping it within that, So a general thing that we'll do is we'll say like charge your scooter up to 100 and leave it, and then check on it every like 2 weeks or so. And if ever it goes below like 50%, give it a charge again, to 85, 90%, just to keep the cells fresh and full, and it'll ensure that your battery is nice and ready for your next riding session.
Yeah, and typically it shouldn't be dropping that much, I think, if you're leaving it stored, especially if it's in a warm place in your house, right?
Yeah, especially if it's in a warm place.
Where to keep the scooter,
cooler temperatures will affect the battery, so you want to be keeping the scooter like somewhere ideally around 20 degrees Celsius. I think that's around 70 Fahrenheit. You want to be...
No idea, sure.
I think it's around that. Or it's actually around 50 Fahrenheit, sorry.
Okay.
So you want to be keeping like that's the ideal temperatures. You don't really want to be storing your scooter below 10 degrees or anything colder than that. That could really damage your battery cells. And so if you are storing it in, like, let's say your garage, and you know for a fact that it's between 10 and 15%, you might want to be checking on your battery a little bit more regularly, just to make sure that you're like staying within the recommended percentage for your battery cell.
Good idea. Yeah, I guess if anyone's like keeping their scooter in their garage, that's okay. Maybe, put something around it to try and keep it warm, or just check on it more often, because usually the garage is a little bit colder than the rest of the house. Yeah. And you mentioned something before about letting the battery die, and like it's not good to do that. Like our scooters, we want to point out our scooters do have a safety shut off, so they will turn off before the scooter battery is fully dead. Yeah. You don't really want to get to that point very often, right?
No, that's it. You don't really want to take the risk. There is already a precautionary measure in place in the scooter. It'll shut off like 2-3 volts before like the critical point. But like you don't want to be cutting it close. It's always a risk.
And the less battery capacity you have left on your charge, you're gonna notice a difference in performance, right? Like you're the range,
for sure.
everything.
Exactly.
Range, but
Yeah, for sure. When you have less like power to pull from to power the whole scooter, then
Hmm.
definitely you're gonna see a slight decrease in like all of the categories.
Yeah. So obviously there's going to be a huge difference. Well, maybe not a huge difference. Difference in speed from like 100% to 50%, and obviously so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, How can people make the most of their range? Because that seems like a big question again. Everyone's like, how can I maximize my range? My commute is 15 kilometers. I want to make sure that I'm going to get there okay. What's the best way to maximize that?
Yeah. So one of the first things that we recommend is to always kickstart your scooter. So you can do that in the advanced P settings. I forget if it's 1 or 0. You could always check our article online for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what that'll do is that it'll force you to kind of push the scooter before you engage the throttle, so that it's already spinning, because most of the torque and power is being used at the
That's
start
true.
of the motor, because it's trying to like make it accelerate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another tip that we have is to accelerate slowly. Faster acceleration means more torque, which means more energy being consumed. So you want to accelerate slowly. You want to keep your top speed down. You don't necessarily want to be cruising at the highest speed, because that's always draining as much power
Yeah.
as it can. And uh, one tip that people don't necessarily know about is to ride in warmer weather. Like we said for the batteries earlier, this affects you during riding as well. So when you're riding in like
Mm-hmm.
temperatures below 15 degrees, 10 degrees, it can affect the range and battery capacity temporarily
Right.
of your unit. So you could see like a change in range, but that would come back once you like bring the scooter home and it gets warmed up again.
Right. Yeah. For some of us, I guess up here in the north, we can't really avoid the colder
Yeah,
temperatures. So hopefully you're not riding in the snow or the rain too much, because that will
yeah,
not be good for your scooter just in general. But
yeah,
yeah, as you said, I think like anything below 10 degrees Celsius, you're gonna notice probably a slight change in performance and range.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
anything.
what's the very lowest temperature that people can ride in?
I mean, you could take it out as cold as you want, but like we said, you're definitely gonna see that 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 range and power decrease. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Anything below like 10 degrees Celsius, you're really pushing it for the components on your scooter. So
Minus
like
10, right? Yeah.
yeah, around there is where like we really recommend to like keep your scooter inside. You don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
putting like so much strain on the
Yeah.
components and battery and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why people would want to ride their scooter in minus 10 degrees Celsius weather.
Yeah.
Even when we were doing videos for like, it was like 3 degrees outside and it was
Yeah, that's
freezing.
that's horrible. If you don't have like a face mask, gloves, and stuff, it's
Yeah.
it's not enjoyable so much.
You feel like the Michelin man. You're like so bundled up, you're like
Yeah,
stiff on the scooter.
yeah,
But some people are hardcore. And here in Montreal, we still see people biking in the snow and like
yeah.
minus 20. It's
Some people are troopers.
troopers, crazy. Yeah. However you want to put
There's
it.
a line to be drawn somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe we can segue from that into okay, so maintaining your scooter. If you are riding in less than ideal conditions, if there's like some, I don't know, dirt and debris on the road, a little bit of snow too, which again we don't recommend, but what should people be doing after they ride in those conditions?
Well, you definitely want to be keeping your ride clean. You don't want to have crust building up on your scooters, blocking components, your brake pads and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
one thing is definitely to be keeping your scooter clean. And another good trip to make sure you have a good experience using your scooter will be to like keep your tires inflated. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the number one things that we always advise clients. You want to check the pressure on your sidewall. It's a bit different for every model, but like not checking your tire pressure is a big reason people get flats and don't have a good experience right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that can affect the range too, right? Like if it's underinflated.
yeah, it affects the range. Your tires dragging more and more surface area is touching the ground, so more
Mm-hmm.
power is needed to push that and stuff. So definitely,
Right. Yeah, so there's tires. You got to check your brakes. Make sure your scooter is clean. Dirty brake pads is like the leading cause of brake noise and squealing. And
yeah,
people are asking like, why are my brakes screeching so much? And usually just because of a dirty disc or brake pad.
yeah, exactly. That's something that we get a lot, and sometimes like a quick clean will do the job. What you got to do is take out your brake pads and wipe them down with a cloth, maybe some alcohol, and you just put them back and you're good to go. If the noise is still there, you can check if they're really worn out and stuff. And if you're not sure, you can always reach out to the team also.
But don't be drinking the same alcohol that you used to clean the brake pads.
No, like isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, that'll sting.
Yeah. So we kind of went off on tangent, I guess. We were kind of talking about how to maximize your range, and we've given some tips here. But so what else? There's like tire pressure. There's the battery power. Riding in warmer temperatures if you can. What else can people do to maximize the range? Does the weight that's on the scooter matter?
Yeah, you should take into consideration the max weight load on the unit, of course. If you're a bit over the weight capacity, you can still use the scooter, but you might notice like a drop in range and top speed. But other than that, like the road quality, the road quality you're going to be riding on, the terrain, if it's even, if it's like nice smooth roads, that'll help you with your range. But if it's super bumpy, uneven, or like you have a lot of hills in your neighborhood, that can also affect the range. Another thing that can help maximize your range, especially if you have 2 motors on your scooter, is actually to ride in dual mode, because overall it actually pulls less power together than one motor by itself trying to push the whole unit. So that's something that we get asked a lot, and you actually get a lot more range by riding in dual.
Yeah, I forget what the how the physics on that works, but it's like the law of diminishing returns or something like that. So you're using two motors to work together rather than overworking one motor.
Exactly.
Some people don't actually realize that. It's easier to do it that way. Where was I going to go with that? Yeah, so someone, I guess, riding in San Francisco, you're probably not going to have the same range as someone riding in, I don't know, Dallas or the prairies somewhere, right, where it's more flat. For full transparency, and I don't know if everyone really knows this, but a lot of our range estimates, we do try to be as conservative as possible to try and give you a better real world estimate. But most of our testing, I believe, is done with a 160 to 180 pound rider, and it's always on the slowest speed setting, right? Like you said before, the faster you're going, the less range you're going to have.
Yeah, the more power you're pulling and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important to ride at slower speeds. Obviously, if you're in San Francisco riding up and down the hills, you can't really avoid, going up and down so much and riding on flat ground. But as much as you can, and then maybe slow down. And if you're carrying a big bag too, obviously that's going to weigh you down more.
Yeah, exactly. If you're already close to the maximum weight load and you're coming back from a backpack full of groceries, that can also affect your range and stuff. So it's stuff to consider.
Yeah. And even if they are below our maximum weight capacity, will people still notice a drop in performance?
If they're below?
Yeah, if say the Explorer, which I think the max weight capacity is 265, right? Even if someone's I don't know, 200, do you think they're still going to get the same estimations that we give, or is it going to be a little bit different?
It could be a little different, like you said. We do our testing in a closed environment with a 160 pound rider. It's always the same rider for every test, So if not everyone fits is the exact same fit as the person that we use as testing. So there could be differences, but generally, like you said, we're pretty conservative, and you should be getting pretty close, if not reaching those numbers that are on the side if you're well in the weight limit.
Cool. Okay, so we've talked about how to choose the right scooter for you, the brakes, the throttle, how to get started, where to go and ride and try it out, and then how to, I guess, what to expect from the performance too. What else do you think we should cover, or what else do you think people should know when starting out and getting a scooter for the first time?
We have a bunch of introduction videos that'll run over some of these tips and stuff. I definitely recommend watching those videos. It gives you a really good idea of what scooter ownership is like and what to be prepared for in terms of maintenance and that kind of stuff. One of the misconceptions that there is with scooters is that you're going to buy a scooter and you're never going to have to do anything on it. It's just going to be ready and good to go forever. But in reality is there's a lot of moving components. There's a motor, there's stuff that could go wrong. So maintenance is an important thing to do if you want to keep your scooter healthy and running for a super long time. That's definitely a tip.
Yeah, it's a good point. And it's like buying a bicycle or even a car. And a bike is very simplistic machine, something that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. And yet, even those, they still need pretty regular maintenance. with so much fewer parts too. So I think
Mhm.
it's something that people don't necessarily realize, but at least us, we're trying to provide the right type of content, guideline or guides and how-tos to what's going on outside.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think there's something happening outside. Sorry about that.
But yeah, to help people take care of their own scooter on their own and not be so overwhelmed or feel daunting.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, definitely. Like if you haven't done maintenance before, it could seem scary. You might not feel comfortable doing it. But with like the videos that we're putting up and stuff, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. We're trying to make the learning curve as simple as it can be, because
Yeah.
it
And
definitely helps. When you're able to like switch your tire out at home in
mhm.
15, 30 minutes instead of like dropping off at a bike shop, waiting 2 days and coming back. There's advantages.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Or even having like for more complicated repairs to ship it back to us. But I mean, even in those situations, like at least we do have that option, right? If anyone needs to send it back, like we have a network of repair technicians that we're setting up. Is that right? So we'll
yeah,
have someone hopefully in every city soon.
yeah, that's something that we're working on. Where we've been talking to and training a couple different tech employees that are going to be located all across North America. Right now, not in
Mhm.
every city, but that's a goal that we're trying to have, and
Yeah.
we're going to try and make repairs as easy and as local as possible for our customers.
Yeah. So we're really trying to give like different um, levels to it, I guess. We're going to have like our own content, which is on our YouTube page, which, by the way, if you guys are not subscribed to it, you should go and subscribe now. So you can do repairs yourself at home. For slightly more complicated repairs, we'll have the network of repair technicians. So you can send it to someone hopefully nearby you, and it's going to be like a crowdsourced rated thing. So, if they do a good job, let us know. If they did something that need to improve, well, we'll let us know as well. And for obviously like the more really complicated warranty repairs, probably more electronic or battery related, then you can at least send it back to us. And so we have like 3 different options for people.
Yeah, exactly. And if ever you run into any issues, you always can always reach out to our team, and we'll try and advise the best solution for you. So don't be shy to reach out to us.
Beautiful. Well, I think that's all I have. Anything else you want to
No,
drop
I'm good. I
or
think we covered a
address?
lot of stuff. We went a bit off track, but I think we covered everything that that you asked me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of different questions and a lot of different tangents to go off of, and it can seem daunting and a little bit of a steep learning curve at first if you're just starting on a scooter, but it's like riding a bike, and I think people pick it up pretty easily. So hopefully, you guys
exactly.
watching, you'll find this informative. If you need anything else, like let us know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see. We have a great big content library already, but let us know if there's something specific you guys want to see, and let us know what you want to see in our next podcast as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you, Xavier, and
No
have a great
problem.
day.
Thank you for having me.
Ride safe.